Today with my GCW2s was a bit of a rough one. We were going through our assessments, kids were looking at their work and they were looking at their feedback. So some of the feedback that I gave to a student was that their work needed to be all original. And for this particular assessment, though in normal digital technologies assessments it is totally fine, in fact it's actually encouraged that students use resources that have Creative Commons licenses or exist in the public domain. But for this particular assessment, it's expected that all of our students use completely original work. So that's including text, that's including images, that's including videos. Everything in this assessment has to be original. I had a student who had the feedback that their work was not entirely original. I relayed that to them and I noticed it while they were completing the assessment, so I did mention it to them and say, hey, we want to make sure that everything's made by you in order to make sure that we meet the assessment. But this particular learner was really insistent that they already had made everything original, which from what I had seen was not true. And I think next time this happens, I think it would be really important for me to ask what the learner's understanding of original is and what the learner's understanding of plagiarism is, because I think maybe there was a miscommunication in that, and maybe the learner was under the impression and totally believed that they had done everything correctly, but because of that misinformation or that miscommunication, then they actually weren't entirely sure. So it's something that I'm going to have to really look into for next year, and a component that I really want to build into my courses, the difference between Creative Commons licenses, plagiarism, we want to talk about attribution, we want to talk about public domain, we want to talk about original work. And these are all things that I think is at the core of digital technologies. It's not really being covered adequately right now, and it's something that I personally as a teacher really need to work on, delivering that content so that everybody's on the same page and we don't need to worry about this kind of scenario popping up again. I definitely could have handled it better, and I think in the future I need to make sure that my interactions with my learners are mana enhancing, and I also want to make sure that I am very, very clear about my expectations. So